Well, hello everyone, my name is Zachary O'Shea, and this is Box of Teeth. Let's start a brand new string of horror-themed monsters for Dungeons & Dragons right now. With any role-playing game, whether it's Dungeons & Dragons or not, especially one that's horror-themed, you need to have your big bads for a long campaign, those kind of horror icons that are going to stick in your player's head, that they're going to want to thwart. We're going to start with one today, which is Phantasmagoria, and go on to his minions very soon. But let's cover the big bad himself first. While enrobed in a velvet cape and other finery, this mask-wearing villain is no man, nor beast, or even undead. In fact, all of that clothing, down to the porcelain larva-style mask that it wears, is merely an illusion. In truth, this is an elemental creature that is a series of complex harmonies that produces this illusion and allows it to interact with the mortal world. There are many composers that have tried to make songs based off of these weird harmonies and concordances, and every one of them has gone mad in the end. And Phantasmagoria really enjoys that. He can summon a faux saber out of nothing, but it still cuts just as deep. Few have ever seen his natural form. It's still humanoid-ish, but it's very distorted and discordant and an unsettling mess. Phantasmagoria came about because of an absurd tragedy. There was a group of revolutionaries that wanted to take out the area's upper class and set off an arcane explosion at an opera house that many of them were present at for a performance. This explosion did succeed in wiping out everyone, orchestra, upper class, ushers, and all, and also took 5 or so city blocks with it. The resulting agonizing sounds mixed with the static ones because the audience was singing along gave birth to this elemental. An elemental with an agenda. Body counts don't matter. There's no sacrifice too large for the sake of great art. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at this elemental statistics for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Phantasmagoria is a challenge rating 15 medium elemental who is neutral evil. He's got a high armor class and a decent number of hit points. He does have saving throw bonuses, a plethora of skills as well as condition immunities, and he's immune to thunder damage as well as damage from non-magic, non-silvered weapons. He does have dark vision, tremor sense, and he knows a couple of different languages. Ability-wise, he has Bind Instrument, so if he's had an instrument in his possession for at least 24 hours, he can choose to become bound to it. While he's bound to this instrument and uses it, he does have advantage on performance checks, and he can always cast the Misty Step spell to get closer to that instrument. He must have it on his person to use any of his legendary actions. He does have innate spellcasting for a lot of different spells, mostly illusionary or thunder-based ones. He has magic resistance. He also has rejuvenation, so when he is slain, he will reform 24 hours later at the bound instrument unless that bound instrument has been destroyed. He is vulnerable to the silent spell that can mess him up pretty well. He gets disadvantage on attack rolls and must succeed on a constitution save or be unable to move while he's in that silence. Finally, ability-wise, he does have thunder form, so he can become just sound itself and squeeze through small openings and deal thunder damage when he moves through people's spaces. It's kind of like a gaseous form, but it's all sound. Action-wise, he does have multi-attack. He can make 2 attacks every round with his sonic slice that usually looks like a saber. It does some slashing damage and some thunder damage. As a legendary creature, of course, he has legendary actions. Those include attack, pretty standard there. He has high note, so he chooses a creature that he can see within 30 feet. That creature has to make a constitution save as he batters it with really strong, terrible notes. If the creature fails, it is incapacitated until the end of its next turn. He can cast a spell, another pretty standard one, and he has Musical Interlude, which is Otto's irresistible dance with a few changes. Most notably, in addition, if he is within 5 feet of a creature that fails that save and is dancing around, he can make a free move as he dances with them. Phantasmagoria is a cosmic horror and class horror monster. We're going to cover many of his minions. They're all pretty much elementals here over the next couple of days. He is based off of the Phantom of the Opera, but with his own obviously twisted kind of backstory. He can also torment or patron a bard player character, or perhaps even be a warlock patron all on his own. He is pretty powerful after all, and he's always going to try to cause chaos and the greatest art that he possibly can, again with a high body count. You can always find him, the rest of his minions, and hundreds of more horror-themed monsters, all for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, that are all perfectly free at boxofteeth.blogspot.com. If you're more interested in the non-Dungeons & Dragons role-playing projects that I have, or the horror fiction that I write, that includes Psychopops. It is out now. It is a horror novel. It's book 2 in a series, but you don't have to read book 1. You can always go to www.zacharyoshea.com. As always, I appreciate your time and your attention, and have a wonderful rest of the day.